So my mic started acting up on me for some reason. So hopefully you guys can hear everything that I'm talking about. So here we go. So for those that have been subscribed to my channel for a while, thank you so much for sticking around. You didn't have to, but you did, and I love you for that. For those that are new to the channel, you might not know this, but I used to make films in the past, short independent films. I used to submit into film festivals. I loved it a lot. It was a very fun experience creating a story, getting actors, getting a crew, finding locations, and just putting a film together that came from my head. It was such a great experience. The last film that I ever did that was big in budget kind of took a lot out of me, so I took a break from filmmaking, and I started watching what films are coming out nowadays in Hollywood. And as the years have been going on, films have just been on the decline. And I talk about that on my channel. I'll even put some playlists above so you guys can watch it. I don't understand why Hollywood is taking the lazy route when it comes to storytelling and just forgetting the fact that people do like creativity. People like original stories. Even if your original story is not amazing, at least the attempt is there. We can appreciate it, people that love stories. When it came to this film, Gladiator, spoiler, when I saw the trailer, or at least that there was a trailer coming out for Gladiator 2, I was very upset because it reminded me of the first one. Now I remember rumors of them making a Gladiator 2 like about a year or so ago, but it was just a rumor. I didn't think that they were actually going to do it. I thought there was a little bit of backlash coming from it. Maybe there wasn't, I don't know. I'm just reminded of the first one that came out in 2000, 24 years ago. And it was probably one of the best films that had came out at that time, because not also do you have an amazing director like Ridley Scott, the world that was being created, you had an amazing cast. The writing was amazing. And when you combine all of that together, you have an amazing epic classic. It's hard to take a film like Gladiator where you have a person like Russell Crowe, and then you have Joaquin Phoenix, who played one of the best villains for that film at that time, and then you take it 24 years later, knowing where Hollywood is at now with their mindset, and then you make a Gladiator 2, and you're trying to mimic the beauty that was Gladiator. I just don't see it going in the direction that they think it's going to go, but I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think about this film, and predicting what I think of the film. Within the first 2 seconds of the trailer, you see Denzel Washington, and I didn't know what this film was initially, but I was like, ooh, Denzel. First off, not a lot of guys can play off the gray hair thing. George Clooney, Denzel, there's a few other people, but they just look really good with the gray hair. And Denzel just has a way of looking really young and really old, depending on the roles that he's playing. He looks really good in this trailer. In my mind, because I like Denzel as an actor, I totally believe that if anything goes wrong with this film, he's going to be the one that's going to shine through, because it's Denzel Washington. But in watching it, obviously, the biggest thing for me is that you have this kid that's supposed to be like the Maximus. He is supposed to be the older version of Lucius, I believe. And two things kind of like pretty glaring to me. One, they definitely recasted the kid. So if you remember the first one, you obviously know that the kid that's in that trailer for Gladiator 2 is not the original kid from the first one. The kid that's supposed to be the Gladiator, that's supposed to be Lucius growing up, is not the same dude. I found some articles about why they recasted him in the description bar below. I'm just the viewer. I'm just the audience member. There's reasons behind why people do what they do in films. And if you guys really want to understand it, you guys can read the articles below, and it is what it is. Like, films must film. It's really bad when you have sequels, because what happens is that, or just remakes, but in general, when you have a film that came out decades ago, then you're trying to do it again for a modern day, you can't fault people for comparing the two. So clearly that kid that's supposed to be the older version of Lucius is supposed to be representative of like the Maximus from 2000. The only issue is that, well, this dude, I don't even know who this dude is. I've never seen this dude before, and to be honest, I haven't really caught up on new films that have come out nowadays or new shows. I just don't see him being like the Russell Crowe of Gladiator of 2000. Now, that could be unfair for me to say, you know,
he's just a new character, it's a new thing that they're doing for this. You can't compare it to something that happened 20 years ago.
No, I can though. If you go back and watch Gladiator, the amount of quotable lines that he has is impressive. We still use some of the lines back then now, and some people might even use it without even realizing that it came from that film.
Are you not entertained?
The scene where he talks to the king.
Name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
That monologue is just one of the most impressive ones, and it could have fell flat if it wasn't for the fact that it was Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is an amazing actor. Also, Joaquin Phoenix was the best villain for that film.
Am I not merciful? Am I not merciful?
He did it so well. Like, you felt bad for him while at the same time you know he's evil.
You love my father, I know.
But so did I. That makes us brothers, doesn't it? Smile for me now, brother.
So it all kind of worked. And now in the year of our Lord 2024, where films and shows come to die because no one understands that being creative, really giving the audience what they want is important anymore, we have this film that comes out that I obviously was comparing to the first one that came out, and no matter what they do or what they say, I'm going to judge it according to the first one because the first one is superior in all ways, no matter how you look at it.
Rome has so many subjects, she must feed them.
They can eat war.
Now you have Pedro in it. I like them in Kingsman. I like them in Game of Thrones. There's episodes that I have seen of him in The Last of Us was fine. So seeing him in this, he could be a hit or a miss. It doesn't matter. Then all of a sudden you have the two boys in it. I don't know one of the boys. Also, they're kind of done up, but I know for a fact one of the dudes in it was in Stranger Things, the last season, well, season 4. And I'm guessing from how they're portraying them, Pedro is going to be the villain, but the two boys are going to be like, I don't know, maybe his son. His sons are probably going to be like the worst. Somehow the film's going to spin it to where we feel bad for Pedro, even though he is the villain. Pitying the villain is what people do nowadays in storytelling, and I don't understand it because you're an evil person. And it only worked for Joaquin because you understood why he has so much built up anger. But nowadays, people really try to take villains and have them be a more sympathetic character where you need to feel bad for them because, yeah, they're evil and they're doing evil things, but they had a really bad past. All the red flags are going off for me. Granted, I like Denzel Washington. If anything, Denzel Washington is going to be amazing. The world that they created with him in it just looks good. He looks good in it. This was a rumor that was talked about years ago about them creating a Gladiator 2. I thought there was some backlash going on with them creating it, so I thought it was like at a standstill, but I guess not. It's coming out this year. Granted, I want to watch it because it is Gladiator and I do enjoy the story. As a person that hates sequels, prequels, remakes, reboots, I'm just looking at it as like cash grab. You know that this film was popular back in the day. You know people do like looking at Gladiator films and like, you know, rooting for the underdog. But like we could have literally created this and made it a total, like the thing that I don't like about sequels, prequels, reboots, and remakes is that they could literally create this story without using that name that everybody knows. Like you literally could have named it anything, but instead you use the name from a film that was very popular and a classic from back in the day so you can get people to watch it because you know that that name holds weight. When we hear the name Gladiator, we already know what we're getting into because we know from 20 years ago what that film entailed. So obviously we're going to watch it. Now, whether it's good or not is beside the point. The asses are already in the seats. We already paid for our tickets. And that sucks. You bamboozle people by thinking that they're going to get something that is nostalgic to them when really it's just name alone. Watch this shitty film. If it was a totally different director, I would say that. But Ridley Scott, he directed the first one. I want to assume he hasn't lost his touch. This film could be really, to be honest, this film could be like top-notch, amazing, probably even better than the first one, but I highly doubt it. But this film could literally be one of those films that just shocks me. I hate being disappointed. Like, I like being able to predict what's going to happen when it comes to a trailer, but I also like being proven wrong too. Because there's nothing worse than being proven right all the time, especially when you're being proven right on the most negative ways.
I thought this film was going to be terrible, and it actually is worse than what I thought.
Like, no, I don't want that. I would love to be able to be shocked and be like,
oh man, I thought this film was going to be mid, but it actually ended up being amazing. So kudos to Ridley Scott.
I would love to be able to walk out of the film thinking that. The only thing about it is that in the year of our Lord 2024, I don't think that's going to be the case. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Are you guys into films? Did you guys love the film Gladiator when it came out 20 years ago? Have you seen it if you didn't see it when it first came out? I like those stories anyway, and like I discussed one time in my community tab, I loved Spartacus.
You are destined for great and unfortunate things.
There's 3 seasons, one's a prequel. I'll explain to you when I did my video why that happened. But there's supposed to be another season coming out to make it a season, like 4 seasons. Which I have mixed emotions about, but the story itself was really, really good. I like the world of gladiators and slaves and things like that because you can go in any direction with it. The world is built to be raunchy, to be graphic, to be over the top, to be violent. Like, you really can't play the PC shit with those stories because it doesn't make sense. It wouldn't work. And so to see people caring about people's feelings, it won't work in those types of stories. So I really want to see what they do with that new season, but I'll be talking about that in a future episode. though. Let me know what you guys think about this new film coming out, and are you planning on watching it? I'd be very intrigued to read what you guys think. If you do not know, I am a food and drink content creator, and I am a podcaster, and my podcast can be heard on multiple platforms. My Instagram is where you can find my food and drink content. So all of that could be found in the description bar below, so do check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you're always notified about the new videos that I have coming out. I love you all, and I hope to see you all in the next video.